Okay, well, everybody, good morning. Just a couple reminders I wanted to cover before Al gets into the training plan UAT. A reminder, Olivia and I are waiting on that survey feedback on the assessments open-ended questions. We expanded that survey to end tomorrow. So if you haven't taken it yet, go ahead and go in. If you did take the previous survey and provide feedback, then you're okay. You don't have to go in there and add additional. But if you haven't taken the chance to fill that survey out, please go in and because we want to make sure we get better data. Because when we first pulled the data, it was only from 7 respondents. So I believe we're now up to like 15. So thank you guys for increasing that participation. And the only other thing I've received a few examples of orientation videos and like welcome videos. So if there's any more stragglers out there that wanted to send those over for us to review, I'm getting those compiled today to send over to our one of our partners who's reviewing them for content and kind of coming up with some great content to be on the new site as well. So that is all I had. Thank you guys.
Thanks. All right. I'll briefly touch on this project timeline visual, and then we'll go into looking at the training plan response, training plan UAT response data. So real quickly, we have, as you can see, a ton going on right now in requirements gathering, discovery. Some of these are getting really close. We took some of these off hold from last week because we engaged again in customer facing web content pages that draw into this, finding help and getting job seeker and all that. So those are back on schedule. We had a great meeting on that yesterday. We have exits and outcome. So we've been working on and follow up and all that and trying to get that set up to be very usable. And we've got some good conversations going on that. I know assessments, assessments and all that, and application work is being done. So we have a lot going on right now. And we will continue that way through probably through easy through December on this discovery side. Same way with development. We're developing it almost, across the board. We're developing it in services area, application assessments, pre-screening, intake. Across the board, we have development going on too. So going good. We'll be updating this tomorrow. Is Fridays when we update this. So next week we'll have a little bit better picture of the rest of November. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today, it looks like I'm the only one up. So I'm going to talk about what we got as feedback in UAT. It might stimulate some thought. I know I didn't see a lot. I saw Crystal and Cassie. Thank you very much for giving me some feedback here. I really would like participation in this. Everyone on this call was selected for your knowledge and capability and understanding and allowing to influence this product. And I really want you all to take a look at it and take advantage of us having an open UAT environment focused on feature sets during the life of the project, so that everything at the end of the project isn't completely brand new and you don't say, why did you build this way? So I just want to reemphasize that is we have several people, I don't know, 13, 14 people that we had. And then of course we can extend that too for UAT, and we need more participation in this when you get time. So if anybody has any trouble getting in, anybody has any trouble understanding the ask or finding the UAT guide or the notebook or the page, the website, please contact us. Contact Kelly or myself, or Olivia or Laura. Just please do, because we want participation in this. So we can, because every time I look at this user feedback, it's really good stuff. It's like, yeah, you know what? We're too close to the product to sometimes to see some of this. Sometimes we see it. of course, and it's in the process of getting fixed or changed, but sometimes we don't see it. So I really want feedback from everybody. I really want people to get in and try to get in and work around in this because in this training plan, when we have providers doing this uh, in the new world where they're going to build their training programs and all that, we're going to get a lot of questions. I know. And because you always do, right? From the start, when you see something new, it's always and different. It's always hard to manage. Okay, I'm going to go through these today. Uh, I did do some response if anybody had seen those, and then we'll pop back and forth if we need to into the actual application in UAT. I believe I have UAT up here. Yes, I do. Okay, and when we need to, we can talk about some of these things. Some of these are direct hits and they were good. Some of these are maybe we need to discuss. So I have a few that we need to discuss. And then I have some that are bugs. Uh, First of all, this seemed to get good reception, the way we are laying out the entities and expanding this. Of course, I got that from the two people that were in here, and showing the locations and being able to click into those locations directly. Uh, that's that seemed to get good reception. I don't think there's any problems with that. This is the second thing. When you type in a name that's already in existence, if you didn't, we obviously go through the search here first to see if that entity you're going to add is in existence. But if you fly through that search, you know, or you don't recognize something on the list that it is exactly your name that you're adding, it will tell you. Um, Obviously, if you didn't spell it the same or something else, then it's not going to catch that. But it's just one more catch to find out if it's in there. And we have another good feature coming in the next round, which is a Dun and Bradstreet search for any kind of employer entity or entity of any kind. That seemed to work okay. Here, um, there was a there was a bug here. We'll try to reproduce this and fix it. That's just a plain out bug. It shouldn't be. And so we did add this piece where you have to put in the email address now, and and click the I want to receive, or you don't click the I want to receive notifications. So there's some kind of bug there. We'll try to figure out. Relationship management. Um, This was the new feature, brand new feature. I was hoping to get a lot of good response on this. We got some response here, and it's pretty good response. Okay, so this shows a list and a filter set and a list of locations. This is locations that have relationships on them. Okay, as you expand that, remember, then you get the relationship grid below it. If you feel like you want to edit one or more of those, could be a lot of those in there, then you hit the edit button. Okay. Um, this actually takes you directly to that fully defined relationship if you needed to go look at it. But you can also just hit this edit button. When you edit it, it pops up a page like this. Somebody was so nice to put this in here. You change this date. You cannot change that date until you select one of these. Then you can change that date. And that was probably one of the issues. It says, feels like the edit button is hidden. So one of the things was here, this edit button could probably, depending on how much space we're allowing for how many relationships, some of these have a lot of relationships. This edit button could be in an area. I don't know that I have a lot. Let me get to show you that. I don't know that I have a lot of these in UAT, so I'm going to try to bounce over here. Hopefully that's not a mistake to our test area or QA. This is called staging, and this is where. Um, so let me go here and see what we got here. So there's a good example. Okay, right off the bat. So you don't see the edit button here. You have to scroll. So we'll probably need to put that edit button up in here so you don't have to scroll just to see the edit button. The other thing is someone asked, might have been Crystal, said, hey, why does this look like a button? It should not look like a button. There's nothing you could do there. It looks like you can click that. It shouldn't be, it just should be that blue, we call that a pill, but that's what that is. So uh, those two um, those two things were here. And then that was that one. And after read instructions, it looked like checkbox to the left, referencing steps to edit the provider's steps check, but I must have missed it. So I think what happened is this person was looking for this checkbox, but they might have been looking here for this checkbox before they hit the edit here, and that can get confusing. But you have to actually go to here to edit, and then the checkboxes are available. So you might have thought, looking at those steps, you might have thought that you were going to get to see that right here. We didn't put this in line. It's a lot if we put that in line to have the date and they had it right in line. So you have to be assertive and say, yeah, I really do want to edit this. And then you can use this, of course. Like I said, you can change that date for one or more, and you can just change the date and hit save and exit, saves it and goes back. Save lets you stay there. So hopefully, as we go along, that maybe our training documents are a little bit better. But I think that was someone asked for edit here. I said, well, why wouldn't we have edit? I'll show you. Date edits here, like, and this is kind of like you have it today in IWDS. Well, if we did that, then you'd have to change every one. The whole idea of this is I want to change a bunch of them at one time. That's the whole actually idea of this. If you want to just change one, you still can do that with this, but if you want to change multiple ones, you can. So that's what that was about. But that seemed to work pretty good. This one here at the top of the page, after you have gotten through the first time, it will show errors at the top of the page as requested. Yes, we did that. We changed that to show at the top. And then this seems to be working as long as you save and exit and go back to the page. I did not understand this. Is Crystal on? Crystal's not on.
No, I'm here.
Okay, Crystal, I didn't quite understand that because I want to make sure you might not have uncovered a bug. You said you had to, it seems to be work as long as you save and exit and then go back to the page and next through them.
Right. I found that the error message disappears sometimes. Like, and this has been a beat since I did this, so I apologize if I don't remember, but
No, that's okay. That's
but
okay.
I think what was happening is that I wasn't seeing the error message. Like, I expected the error message to stay there if I went out of it and came back into it. Or
Oh, yeah, let me see that. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let me go to a training plan. That's not submitted. Let's just go look at this one right here. I'm going to put it into edit mode and what you're saying. Okay, so now let's go down to cost page and let's just do this. Let's take this out. I think it'll let me go ahead and so something like that. Okay. I think I can save and exit. Okay, now I
but it still shows, like, the little green thing says program cost is fine.
it didn't save. Okay, this is a bug we have open right now that
Okay.
it's not taking our change. Yep,
Right.
you caught the bug. Okay, good.
Okay.
Can you just put a zero there as the system was asking you to put a zero?
Yes,
Take the 300 out and put 300 and just put a zero in there and see would it take it.
you can, and that's okay. But I don't even think this page after you go in and edit is saving it all. Let's go see if it is. Because if we go here and then we come back to here, yeah, it is saving on a zero.
Say
But you
that's what
cannot
you got to
save on the
do.
space. It doesn't
You need
save the space, Robert.
oh it doesn't, but the 300 came out.
Yeah, it did save it. It did save the change. But I was trying to reproduce her problem, and I know what it is.
Yeah.
If you come back, if this is a space and you come back and it's an error, the second time you come back through, you don't have the error.
Yeah. And the other thing was that I kind of expected, because you can see the green and the red over on the side panel. I
Yep.
expected that if I went to, like, ONET codes that that there would be an error telling me, or like program outcomes, that there'd be something telling me what's wrong with it.
There is if you edit mode. We don't have that in view mode. So let me
Oh, okay.
see that where I just hit edit
Yes.
and you see the error right here, or please specify provider pays for the license, okay? And
Yeah, I think that's what was tripping me up too, is that you can't just see it if you're viewing it. You have to
yeah,
go,
maybe,
you have
and
to
maybe we
know
need to
what's going
add, yeah, maybe we need to add that when we're viewing it. That might
on.
be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, because then you can go in and edit it, but you don't know unless you know to click edit, you can't tell what the problem is.
Yep, that's good. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Let me put that on the note there. We'll put it right down here. Uh, Very good. Something else, this one here was actually one of somebody's, Crystal, probably yours. You added, maybe it was not, but you added more than 6, says you can add 6. It lets you add more than 6,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
it gave you an error, but you can't even see what the error is.
Yeah.
This is a bug that's getting fixed also.
Yeah.
Very good catch though. Very good catch. I think I got the bug, maybe even the bug number here on that one. Yeah, it's 17927 is our bug number. So that's a good catch.
Yeah.
Um, okay, that one is that. Okay, we had some stuff in here, zip codes again. Okay. All right. This one is interesting because okay, so I still don't understand the calendar. Okay, oh, this is different. This is the start. Okay, so there is a lot of we're gonna after you said this, uh, so basically what this is all about is on the program of study, okay, you see these 2 dates. Okay. And the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understand it is because it's next to this, you thought for some reason that had to do with the program
Yeah.
inception program. It has nothing to do with that. Okay.
Yes,
This is
because you
active.
told us to think like a provider, right?
You bet. That's good. No, you nailed it. So we're gonna move these into the like an active period, or even if it's over here, it's gonna say it's the active period because this is the active period of this training program when it gets okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that happens. And we may so when we go into if it's an initial, like we're doing here, these are all initial. We're not testing the reapply, resubmit process, recertification process. We're just testing the initial process. And when it's initial, the start date will end up being the start date can be actually needs to be entered. Okay, or needs to be available to enter, but the start date can't be before the approval date by DCO. So the start date's going to be at the approval date by DCO. There's not much you can do about that. The end date's going to be 1 year. Okay, that is for the initial program. Okay, now when we come back in, these dates make more sense when we come back. So when we come back in, the 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 start date will end up being set to the day after because you're still on this like the same program. The start date will be the day after this program expires, okay, which still is not settable, but the end date could be settable up. It's going to be automatically set to 2 years, but it could be less than 2 years. And the provider and the LWIA ETPL coordinator will be able to set that date. So, for example, if your LWIA wants to line some of these up to a certain quarter, so that they have like a certain number of these programs to review each quarter, they may be a quarter end date and not exactly the 2 year end date. Okay, so we know that's going on. So this is not, first of all, there's going to have to be another label here because this was great that you caught that. But this has to do with the active period of this training program, not anything to do with this. Okay.
See, that's the part that kind of confuses me a little bit, because in my experience, all the providers that I work with, they don't they don't care necessarily when we have approved their program or what our timeframes are. Like literally, I don't have any providers who are going in and checking their own stuff. I let them know when they're coming up for recertification.
Yep.
They don't care. They don't necessarily care even how long it takes to get something in. They just know that they've submitted or whatever. So I don't quite know what the point of having this on the part that they see is even going.
Yeah, yeah, I know, we might need to just kind of hide that and then
Yeah.
put it in for the LWIA coordinator. That's one option. Okay, the
Yes.
second option is, but there is a scenario, and I know you say it's probably not often, but there is a scenario where they're going to end a program, at the end of the next semester or the end, you know what I'm saying? And that's
Sure.
2 years.
Yeah.
So, we don't know if that's, what the process would, and since they're managing their programs, they may need to do that, but that may be on an edit. We could maybe do it on an edit and not on a recertification.
Yeah. I just know for sure the way it is right now, confusing as
Confusing.
all get out for provider.
Very confusing. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll work on that. I totally agree. So that's what that's about. Zip codes. Okay, this is. Okay, so it seems that the weird search code number, not text. I always default to typing in text in the box, and if I do that, the list at the bottom is gone. I click OK. All right, let me show you how I use this really quick. I wanted to talk about this, and then you're going to tell me what you do. Okay,
Mhm.
so there's a couple things about this. One is if you know the zip code, you can just type it in. Okay, so let me see if I can even do this. I can't actually, oh, I know what I'll do. Let me go get a new one real quick. Let me get a new one because that's gonna be more effective. Okay, so we're gonna go back here. I just want to cancel this. So I need to do. Yes, I want to leave. Okay, it's not really letting me leave. Cancel. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back and let's go to like here and let's do an ad. Okay. Okay. So if I was in this zip code field and I entered this number and I don't have to have the period and I hit the search, if it matches the one you want, it doesn't even open that window. Okay. So if I do that, boom, you're done. Okay. If I typed in one that was wrong, like it wasn't one, like I don't know if I can do that, and hit the search, it tries to validate it, it can't, and it takes you here. Okay. Now, here you can add a number or you can add a phrase. So if I added a text, if I wanted to add like ag or coal, I'll just put that and I searched, it would let me add anything and it would find all the agricole. Okay. Or I could type in 01, 01, okay, and hit that search. And it would bring back everything that has 0101 in it. See, here's 0101 in the middle, okay? Or if I type farther, 0101, it would find that. Now, if you want to say, so now you're like, what do I do? Maybe that's just where you were.
Yeah.
If you hit that X, it clears it all out. There's an X right here. So if I type in nurse and search, okay, and it brings back anything that has nurse in it. If I say, oh, you know what, I didn't want that at all, you hit that X right here, it clears it all out. Brings you back to browse mode.
I never
So
saw the X.
I think I figured that's what it was because most people don't see that X. Okay. So I don't know. We can figure out, maybe we can make that bigger, or the problem too is, see how wide my screen is?
Yeah.
We need to just bring this over to in here, this area here, the end of,
Yeah.
they just made it the width of the screen or width of the, if it was like more like, I don't know if this is showing to you, but if it was more like this, right?
Yeah.
Then that X would be a little bit closer and you might recognize what it is. So if I put in mechanic and searched, then that X is a little closer at least. But we probably just need to make this, because nobody's going to put a search term in along anyway, right? Because
Right.
it's too slow. You're not going to type in a bunch of words. So anyway, so we'll bring this over probably to get that cleaned up. Because that way, um, That way you can, people understand it maybe a little bit better. But if you type anything in there that matches, hit it, it doesn't even go to it. If you don't type anything or you type in something that doesn't match, it says, okay, it brings it up. Hopefully that's a little bit better. But I mean, obviously you stumbled over that, and so we got to be aware of that. This one here, you found a bug. Got to get that reproduced. That was a year. I think you put in a 2 or something and got some kind of a loop or something.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think, yeah, if you just type in something else. Whoops. Yeah, it's not finding anything. Well, I don't know if that actually, shouldn't work like this anyway. I
Right.
agree. Anyway, I logged a bug for this. Because really, why do we need a search really? It's like, you know. Okay, so you found legitimate bug there, good. Okay, this is another one we got in. This is a problem that we have in there. I'm glad you mentioned this because what seems to be happening is if I actually got to fill this one out. So pull this first page out real quick. I'm going to put neither. And then I'm going to pick this one. Okay, so I'm going to go to next, save that. And I can add my out. These outcomes aren't filled. You guys all recognize it. This is not set up very good yet. And then, whoops, I didn't want to just put that. Okay. Okay, so the issue, you look down here and you say, okay, no is my answer. So I don't have to do anything else, right? But when you get down to the end, and I'm not going to fill it all out, it shows a problem on this page. This comes red. I think this is what you experienced. And you come back here and go, why is it red? It expected you, and you didn't know it, but it expected you to at least check that button. So there's another fix in here that's going to not make you do that. And because it doesn't make sense, you're like, well, what's wrong with this page? If you hit no, I think that's what you did to get to this problem right here on the outcomes. Hopefully that's what I caught. Then this one here was the add note button. Oh, you can add notes at any time just by adding a note here. And then once you get that first page saved, and then you can go to notes here anytime and see them, or you can add one from here too. So if you need notes, now we're getting into this providers in there, and we have ETPL coordinators in here, and maybe the ETPL coordinator wants to put a note in there and say, and while they're trying to review it and say, no, I need some clarity because that's one of the options. Then there's a note right there for them to see what your clarity question is. But we thought it would be nice to have notes on this. That's what that is. That should be available all throughout too. Okay. I noticed when the green and red circles next to pages. Oh, yes, they don't come up to begin with because we were kind of trying to say, hey, we don't want to show you everything that's wrong before you even had a chance to do anything to this thing. So what it's trying to do, which is really tricky, what it's trying to do is, as you can see, I don't have any errors yet, right? And that's because we're allowing you to get through the program at least once. Now we get to this point and it tells you all your errors. So that was the concept there, was get to not be abrasive and say, okay, every screen I go to has a yellow box on it before I even add anything. And so that was the purpose of why you didn't see those to begin with. And then you saw when you got towards the bottom. Okay. Whether right or wrong, we just thought it'd be better than to tell everybody the whole thing is wrong before you even start. So that's why we wanted to do that. I also noticed when I finally got to the green red to show up, it was giving me a red on program. Yep, that's what I was talking about. That's a bug. I got a no error to tell me, and this one's a bug. You found that too. Cost page. Oh, this one you thought the box. Well, the intent of the box. Okay, this one here on costs. Um, this particular box right here, you like wonder maybe we should have boxes here or whatever. This is really overall is what this is. I'll read my comment because the intent of this box is to provide the participant with information on where to buy books or materials, or if the books or materials are handed out in class. It is just helpful information about the program. The problem is, I'm sure it could be different based upon multiple like courses of the program or something like that. So that wouldn't really do you that much good anyway, because we're talking about a training program, not just necessarily one course or section of that program.
Exactly.
But it's also information that participants might most likely, and it's also information that participants most likely get when they sign up for the course or whatever. So, it's an optional field and we just thought it'd be there. I think maybe it's there before, but if you do have other, you do have to put something in other. Okay.
Yeah, which
Right.
totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is just saying, I don't know if it's important or not, but that's what that's for.
Well, because
Oh,
the blue box right above it tells you, like, okay, for each item where you have a cost, describe in detail. So then it's like, okay, but then they're all going to be in one block together instead of up.
yeah. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I see what you're saying
It
here.
just seems confusing, like we're trying to make more information available and make it clearer.
We
And
can do that if you want us to. We can do that. Put it here and put it optional here, though, not like this one, which is mandatory.
right, right.
And we can put those here. I don't have a problem with that.
It just feels like we're being more confusing than we are being
I
helpful.
see this because of this. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, we'll think through that. That might be a good idea. Um, this one here,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a bug. That's a bug. Yeah. And this is getting changed a little bit to be more like the way SIP reacts. Okay, so here's what's going to happen to this in a couple weeks here. Let me go down here and ONET. What you're going to do, if you added a valid ONET code in, okay, first of all, these two things here are going to be one button, just like SIP. And when you add a code here, if it's a valid code and you hit enter, it's just going to go down there. If valid code enter, it's going to go down there. If it's not a valid code or you hit space and hit that, it's going to go to the selection thing. So this is we want to kind of mirror this up with a little bit more with SIP code, but obviously you can have more than one here. But this is confusing. It's hard to even see that that's a button, right? You don't even like, what is that? Okay. So that's what we want to do is we're going to make it just one button here. And then if you're valid, that way some people like to enter them because they know them or they got them somewhere in their hand already prepared. Or some people may want to search for them. So, but then that works the same too, by the way, is you can do the same. And this is the way it should look. See this? So like if I hit in technician, see how this is what we want to do this SIP. It shouldn't be that long. So it's right there. So this is all technician. So and then you can hit whatever you need to hit. And those go up there. I don't know if you know that, but those go up here because there's multiples and you can get rid of one and then do it here, or you can get rid of it this way, either way. And these are the ones you're setting up to go back. So if I saved those here and then go back. So make sure, what's that?
Box to be big, because when I was doing it, the box that it was coming up in was so tiny.
I wonder why. I was going to ask you that too, because you said that. I'm like,
Like
I
you
wonder
couldn't
why.
see anything. I was like, what? I don't
Maybe
understand.
maybe your machine was like this big.
No, I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's, there's nothing weird about my computer setup or anything. It's just that it was coming up and it was such a tiny box that you couldn't see anything.
And
And I don't remember
it
which
didn't look like
part it
this,
was.
you're saying, right?
No,
Hey, can
no.
you when you get that again, can you take a screenshot and put that in the UAT notes for me? I
Yeah,
want to see what's going on there. Yeah. I was like, I didn't understand that. And I was trying to figure that out because I'm like, well, yeah.
because
Now,
it was seriously tiny, and I was like, the scrolling was becoming really aggravating because I couldn't see anything.
interesting. Okay. We need to take a look at that. What browser are you using, by the way?
It was Edge, I think.
Okay, we'll take a look at that in Edge then. Maybe we got something wrong there. And then the last thing you mentioned that this didn't show up, I think, or something. Okay, so this do review submit page. Do, do you not get a review submit page at all until you have the pages in green status or not read? And I have a review submit right off the bat. That's another thing I wanted to figure out how that happened for you. Because once you get through, well, I think it's there. Once you get through the program study and save it, which you have to get through the program study, then everything's available. So I don't know what happened on yours. So that's another one. If you don't see that review and submit on your navigation, can you take a screenshot of that too?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because I couldn't reproduce that one and I didn't know what was going on there. All right. Once again, thanks so much for your participation in this, and really everyone, if we could get a little bit more participation in here to bang away at this, it'd be really greatly appreciated. So that's all I have. Kelly, do we have anything else? I don't think we do. I don't know if Kelly's on.
Nope, nothing else that I'm
All
aware
right.
of.
Thanks, everybody. Have a little time back. Appreciate your participation.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.